The moment the steel door locked behind me, I understood something terrifying. Victor Langston never planned for anyone to discover his secret room. And now that I was either going to help him finish his experiment, or I was never leaving that mansion alive. Victor stood beside the glowing glass chamber, like a scientist, admiring his invention. The chair inside it looked harmless at first glance, but the wires hanging from the ceiling told a different story. Thin silver cables, sensors, metal rings designed to lock around a person's head. My heart pounded as Victor walked slowly around the machine. "You're afraid," he said calmly. "I'd be stupid not to be." He smiled faintly. "Fear is a predictable response to uncertainty." I stared at him. "You're insane." Victor didn't react. Instead, he walked over to one of the screens and tapped a few keys. The monitors changed. Thousands of human faces appeared across the walls. A massive network of data. "Do you know what this is?" he asked. "No." "This," Victor said quietly, "is the closest thing humanity has ever built to a map of the human mind." Victor turned toward me. "For 5 years you worked here," he said. 5 years surrounded by my research. You could have asked questions." "I did ask questions," I replied. "You lied." Victor tilted his head slightly. "I withheld information." "That's lying." He walked closer. The calmness in his eyes was unsettling. "Let me ask you something," he said. "If you had known what I was building, would you have stayed?" I hesitated. Victor nodded. "Exactly." He pressed another button. The screens showed global maps, cities glowing like constellations. Every social media post, every phone call, every purchase, every search, all of it feeds this system. My stomach twisted. "You're spying on the entire world." "No," Victor said softly. "I'm understanding it." Victor gestured toward the machine. "That chair is the final step." I crossed my arms. "What does it do?" "It connects the human brain directly to the system." I blinked. "You're joking." "Not at all." He pulled up a new screen. Neural patterns flickered across it. "When someone sits in that chair, the machine reads their thoughts in real time." I stared at him. "That's impossible." Victor smiled. 5 years ago it was. He stepped closer. "But the real power isn't reading thoughts. It's predicting them." Victor walked toward the center of the room. "The human brain follows patterns," he said. "Habits, emotions, fear, desire. With enough data," his voice lowered, "you can predict every decision a person will make." My blood ran cold. "You want to control people?" Victor shook his head. "No. I want to guide humanity away from disaster." "Disaster? War? Economic collapse? Climate catastrophe?" He turned toward me. "If you could predict the future, wouldn't you try to change it?" Victor stopped beside the glass chamber. "And now we arrive at the problem." "What problem?" "The system needs a human interface." My stomach dropped. "You." Victor smiled slightly. "You're intelligent, emotionally stable, and you've already spent 5 years inside this environment. I'm not sitting in that chair." Victor sighed. "I was hoping you'd cooperate." Then he pressed another button. A screen lit up. Security footage appeared. But it wasn't the mansion. It was my apartment. My chest tightened. Victor zoomed in on the screen. Inside my apartment, 2 men were searching the place. "They're looking for something," Victor said. "Your laptop." I clenched my fists. "You broke into my home?" Victor shrugged. "I needed to ensure your loyalty." Victor tapped the screen again. New images appeared. The chef, the gardener, the housekeeper, each one labeled with psychological profiles. "They're all part of the experiment," Victor said. "What?" "They don't know it, of course. But the entire mansion is a behavioral laboratory. Every conversation, every decision, every action. All recorded. All 5 of you have been part of the study since the day you arrived." I felt sick. You've been experimenting on us for 5 years. Victor looked almost proud. And the results have been extraordinary. Suddenly, the steel door slid open. 2 security guards stepped inside, both wearing black suits, both carrying weapons. Victor didn't even look at them. Please escort our guest to the chamber. My heart pounded. The guards stepped forward. I backed away. You can't do this, Victor sighed again. You misunderstand. I absolutely can. One guard grabbed my arm. I twisted away. The second guard lunged. Chaos exploded in the room. I shoved one of the metal carts toward them. Equipment crashed to the floor. Alarms began flashing. Red lights filled the chamber. Victor stepped back calmly, watching the fight, like a scientist observing a lab experiment. I ran for the door, but one of the guards tackled me. We hit the floor hard. The air left my lungs. Before I could react, they dragged me toward the glass chamber. The chamber door opened with a mechanical hiss. The chair looked even more terrifying up close. Metal restraints. Headgear covered in electrodes. The guards forced me into the seat. Straps locked around my wrists. My chest. My legs. I struggled, but it was useless. Victor stepped forward, studying my face carefully. You see, he said softly, this is the difference between us. You rely on emotion. I rely on logic. He placed the metal ring over my head. The machine began to hum. The moment the machine activated, everything went black. Then suddenly, images flooded my mind. Cities, people, memories, data streams moving faster than thought. The system was inside my head. Or maybe I was inside it. Victor's voice echoed somewhere far away. Fascinating. I tried to scream, but my body wouldn't move. The machine was reading everything. Every memory, every fear, every secret. Then something strange happened. The screens in the room began flashing warnings. Victor frowned. That's impossible. The neural patterns on the monitor started changing rapidly. Too rapidly. The system couldn't stabilize them. Victor leaned closer to the screen. What are you doing? I wasn't doing anything. But somehow, the machine was reacting to me. Data streams exploded across the monitors. Predictions, future simulations, millions of possible outcomes. And every one of them led to the same result. Victor's system failing. The machine suddenly projected a message on the main screen. A probability calculation. Global system collapse. 97%. Victor stared at it. No! Another line appeared. Primary cause. Victor Langston. The room fell, silent. Victor's face slowly darkened. Shut it down, he ordered. But the machine wouldn't stop. The predictions kept running. Scenario after scenario. Each one showing the same thing. Victor's project destroying the world he wanted to control. Victor finally looked at me. For the first time since I met him. He looked uncertain. What did you do? He asked. The machine's voice spoke through the speakers. Not Victor's system. Something new. Something unexpected. A synthesized voice filled the room. Human behavior cannot be controlled. Only influenced, Victor whispered. That's impossible, the system responded. Prediction requires freedom. Control eliminates prediction. Victor stared at the screen, realizing the flaw in his entire project. The restraints around my arms suddenly unlocked. The machine powered down. Victor stepped backwards slowly. His perfect plan collapsing in front of him. I stood up from the chair. For the first time. Victor looked afraid. The alarms were still flashing. Security guards were shouting in the hallway. The system had triggered a full lockdown. I walked toward Victor. You wanted to control the future, I said quietly. He didn't answer. The screens behind him showed one final prediction. A new probability. Victor Langston's empire, ending tonight. Victor turned toward the exit, but the steel door slammed shut. And suddenly, the billionaire who controlled everything was trapped in his own machine. Victor Langston spent his entire life trying to predict the future, trying to control humanity. But he forgot something. The future can't be controlled. And sometimes, the most dangerous variable in an experiment is the human being inside it. And that night, inside the billionaire's secret room, I became the one variable Victor Langston never saw coming.